Hi everybody, welcome to Christian Homestead. My name is Jared. It's time to talk about Community of Christ again because I came across something new on one of their social media pages. I follow them on Facebook and Instagram. I want to keep on top of what they're doing. If you're new to the channel or you didn't see the other videos, I'm interested in them for a few different reasons. There are theological cousins for one, so I just find it interesting in the first place. But secondly, we're interested in the land that they have there, because when it comes to prophecy, it's not just the temple lot that's owned by Church of Christ Temple Lot, which is a much smaller church, but it's also the land that Community of Christ owns where they have their temple, and the auditorium, which is across the street from the temple lot on the other side, on the south side. There's supposed to be a 24 temple complex. So at some point, and I don't know when, it's going to be built, and I'd like to see it happen sooner than later. None of us have any ill feelings toward Community of Christ or Church of Christ, and I think that they understand. We all respect each other's religions, and for us, and with this being a Second Coming channel, we're just looking forward to the Second Coming and the building of the city of Zion, New Jerusalem, with its 24 temple complex. So what we're going to talk about today is potentially another indication that they're getting ready to sell these properties. I'm going to put these videos in the description box below in case you missed them. You really should watch them if you're new to this. But I did a video. This was 4 weeks ago at this point. This is me with their prophet president, Stacy D. Cram. I was there the day that she was ordained, and we were in the, I joined all of them in the World Plaza at the temple because I was just watching the event unfold, and I was recording it. But I did this video where we were looking at their YouTube channel, the official church YouTube channel. And on November 1st, they put out a series of videos, starting with a message from Stacy D. Cram. And I can't remember how it happened. I just, somehow it came on my radar. I decided to watch it. And as I was listening to her, I was like, you know what? It sounds like she's getting ready for a big move, like to announce a big move in the coming months. And so I was like, okay, well, that's interesting. And then I listened to this lady here. I can't remember her name, but she's like, I think she's called the presiding evangelist of their church. And her message was even more on the nose, in my opinion. And then I listened to this guy up here. He's in India, or he's from India. I can't remember which. But he also had stuff that went along. And so I felt like they were preparing their membership for a big move. And my question is there a big move? And if it is it the sale of the temple and the auditorium? And I think that it is. Now, I did a follow-up video. In this one, we explored a recent Liahona article, and it was written by Elder Ronald A. Rasband, and I felt like he was potentially helping prepare us as a church for big things. He was clearly talking about all these temples that have been announced, almost like addressing the concern for some people that were spending so much money on temples. But there was a lot of Kirtland Temple imagery throughout that issue, almost as though to like remind us of the purchase of the Kirtland Temple, which happened just last year in 2024. And maybe there's more to come. And then I did this video. This is a cool picture I took of the auditorium one night when the clouds were low. It was a really awesome atmosphere. I did this video because we saw something on the Emporia Community of Christ congregation. That's Emporia, Kansas. They don't have a building. But they have a Facebook page, it's a page. And they're almost like saying like, look, we don't have a building, but we're still here. We're still operating. And some of the verbiage that was used in this video series right here, it kind of felt like they were wanting to go that direction where things are more just like online. It's not done in the traditional way. Oh yeah, there was this video down here too. We looked at this one. This is one of their apostles, and she was really focusing on, hey, yeah, that's how we did things in the 80s. People back then really liked looking forward to big church gatherings and activities, but we live in different times and maybe it's not about a building. And it was like that kind of, that's like, to sum it up, that's basically what she said, among other things. Okay. So that's just everything in a nutshell. Well, let me just add this. So I have some quotes from Stacey D. Cram. This one is from when she was being interviewed by Salt Lake Tribune immediately after she was ordained the new prophet president. You can find this on the Salt Lake Tribune YouTube channel, June 25th, 2025. Okay, she is their first female prophet president. And so, of course, Salt Lake Tribune is interested in that. But she tells a story here where she says, we had people present in Independence, and one of our people made the comment, because, some people would say, gosh, Christianity is having a really hard time. Christianity is in decline. Community of Christ is in decline along with the rest of, Christianity. Well, one person said, I didn't hear her say it directly, but she said something akin to this. It doesn't feel like it's a church that's dying. It feels like it's like a church that's being reborn. And I would underscore that. She keeps using terms like prophetic imagination and pivoting and taking different paths and stuff like that. This is the transcript from the YouTube video. We went through this, and she said some stuff here. Yeah, look at this. This is our call this Advent, like Christmas, to prepare our hearts to be changed, to be surprised, to cultivate that same imagination and agility. Oh yeah, prophetic imagination and prophetic agility are terms that she uses, as well as onward. We're invited to release our tight grip on our own expectations and embrace our role as pioneers led by the Spirit into unknown territory. This is just a small slice of, you can see all my highlights here. We also took these messages and put them through Grok and had Grok analyze them. And Grok said, and gave actual examples, verifiable examples. Grok said that the language and like specific phrases that they've been using in these messages are the same phrases that other churches have made when they sold their headquarters building, or when there was like the sale of a bunch of buildings, like a bunch of congregations were selling their buildings, or some big change. They're using the same verbiage according to Grok, and it gave the examples. Okay, so sorry. Okay, so that's necessary to talk about to get you up to speed, as well as it's a segue into the main topic of this video, which is, I think they have a plan. I think I know what the rebirth looks like. I think I know what the lesser known path looks like. I was on Facebook. This was a little while ago, I guess. Well, at this point, a couple weeks ago. And I came across this post. This is Community of Christ in Canada. And I actually have it right here. It says, imagine yourself in a quiet room watching a video of a Christmas song, just singing along. Then imagine your voice blended with the voices of others, singing together as if you were as if you all were in the same room. And imagine people around the world, or you could say around the church, the whole church. And imagine people around the world receiving your ministry of music as they come together for worship or in moments of personal reflection or spiritual need. And then when you look at the image up here at the top left, it says Beyond the Walls. And so I was like, okay. Beyond the Walls. That goes along with what I was talking about here with this apostle. She was just talking about, beyond the walls, how church is not a building. And it's nice. It facilitates things, but is it really necessary? There's, different ways of doing things, that kind of thing. And so when I saw this Beyond the Walls, I'm like, okay, I need to see what's going on there. The Community of Christ Canada put this out about online gatherings, and it has like a post for, the December 7th Sunday gathering, whatever they call their meetings. I saw this too. So this is also Community of Christ Canada, published December 6th. As I visited congregations in the UK, I noticed that people take great pride in buildings that are much more humble than any of the facilities our congregations have in North America. And no one seems to let the size of their space limit what is possible to offer. So again, like this messaging that involves buildings. This is a picture that has tall buildings right here, skyscrapers, but that gives a really good visual for like thinking of like, there's big, hefty buildings, but really, if you want to serve people, you can do it in small spaces, but give big in your personal life. Big ministries, small spaces. Okay, so are you catching a theme here? And it's all this year. It's all within like the last few months, basically. The last half of this year. And then there's this one, online gathering. This one's for Sunday, December 14th. It says our congregations across Canada. Okay, so I decided to look closer at this. Community of Christ has their main YouTube channel. It has 7.9 thousand subscribers. Their church is the only number that I've ever seen is 250,000. So, and then they have this website, this YouTube channel called Center Place. This one has a much larger number, like a lot, 88.6 thousand. Even with a church of 250,000, I don't know that this channel would be that big. I think that they might be branching out to other people, like other users of YouTube that just want a spiritual experience. I have a hard time thinking that all of them, the entire audience, is Community of Christ. Because like when you look at our church's YouTube channel, it's not 17.5 million, of course. So it just seems like a high number, but it is much bigger. It is much bigger than the official church channel. The first video goes back to 10 years ago. So that's how long this has been around. When you scroll through here, the first Beyond the Walls video, or it says here online gathering. So the first one that's on their thumbnail is 8 years ago. I don't know if they were calling all these Beyond the Walls back here like 9 years ago, 10 years ago. Maybe they just didn't put it on the thumbnail or in the title. But okay, so Beyond the Walls, it's not new. It goes back 8 years ago. But I just want to point out, maybe it's meant to be that this started, because I think the Lord's plan is that at some point they're going to sell these properties. And just like what happened with the Kirtland Temple, I think it's the same plan. And so I'm sure that they were inspired to start doing Beyond the Walls. This was before the pandemic. So it's not like it happened because of the pandemic. Okay. So you have that. This is their first video on this channel, December 4th, 2015. And then you have this website, centerplace.ca. So I wanted to read a couple things from here. And I'm pointing this out because maybe this whole thing that they're doing with Center Place in Toronto, Canada, and Beyond the Walls, maybe this is like a template that they're going to use for their whole church. Maybe the whole church is just going to become a YouTube channel and, online communities on like Facebook. And I'm sure that they would still meet, they would still have buildings, but there may be a shift from primarily meeting every Sunday in a building to like a more hybrid approach to church. Okay, so it says, welcome to Center Place. Welcome to our LGBTQ plus affirming, non-dogmatic interfaith community from our location in downtown Toronto. We reach out to members and friends who join us from around the world every week. Okay, around the world every week. So think about this. Imagine that Community of Christ sells the temple and the auditorium. The auditorium, that's where they have their general conference. It's called World Conference. Well, maybe this is going to be the new format. Maybe they'll use this in some way. Like they have this audience and they have this program, the Center Place platform and Beyond the Walls community. And maybe they're going to just make that big shift. It's like, okay, this is now like the main thing. This is how we primarily communicate with our members. And we're going to have like worldwide meetings and services and stuff like that. All right, continuing, we strive to provide a safe space for people of diverse backgrounds and philosophies of life to come together to explore existential questions, as well as to work together to promote peace, justice, and equal opportunities to everyone. Our activities include meditations, lectures, retreats, workshops, discussion groups, music production, and the Beyond the Walls online church services. Okay, online church services. Has a section here for Beyond the Walls. Join our global congregation online each Sunday for inclusive church beyond the walls of Toronto Center Place. You go to Community of Christ main website and, they have a section for it for Beyond the Walls. Beyond the Walls is an online community of disciples and seekers from around the world. We affirm, now I've never seen it this long before, 2SL GBTQIA+. All are welcome to participate in our weekly events. And then it has, the schedule here. Leadership. John Hamer, he's the pastor. That's this guy right here. Well, that's him about 7 years ago. Or no, sorry, 10 years ago. I've seen him talk before. I can't remember if I follow him on Facebook or if he just posts on like a more official church account, but I see him from time to time. He's actually popped up on this channel. There was one post where he was talking about how their church used to view the church as like it's very similar to us, where the cornerstone is Christ, and then it's built on a foundation of apostles, and then you have all the other offices of the priesthood, 70s, and for them, I don't know if patriarchs, but patriarchs and high priests and elders and all that stuff. And he was talking about in that post how, that's how the old church used to think, the old RLDS church, but it was actually incorrect. But it's interesting how they used to think back then, is basically what the post said. So anyway, that's my update for you. I can't say that the recent language in these messages are related directly to Beyond the Walls. Like I said, Beyond the Walls may have just been a thing that was meant to happen when it started when it did, and it looks like it's picked up steam. It looks like this channel is doing pretty good. 88.6 thousand. I think that's pretty good. So I don't know, but the sale of the Kirtland Temple, that obviously wasn't like a quick decision. It's not like 2021 rolled around and in January they're like, okay, you know what? We need to like figure it out right now because oops, we're not going to be able to afford the rest of this year or the next 5 years. So we better sell it right now. They probably saw it coming from a far ways off. Maybe as far back as 10 years ago. Maybe it's been in discussions for longer than that. But anyway, the point is, you have this thing set up. This may be a really valuable asset to them as they seek a new way forward with prophetic imagination and prophetic agility. Those are their terms that they use, pivoting and stuff like that. I guess the last thing I'd like to end with, I feel like this is like probably the most telling statement right here. This is from, her name is, okay, it's at the top, Mareva Arnaud Chong, presiding evangelist. So she's the one that I pointed out, her right here in the orange blouse. She said at this point, in the same way, no, sorry, where'd it go? Sorry, I thought it was a different part. The prophet Isaiah spoke to a people in exile in Babylon. Their temple was destroyed, their land lost, their habits broken. Many thought, our story is over. And that's when God speaks. See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? I mean, I feel like that's pretty thinly veiled. I feel like that's pretty explicit. Because you might as well say, Stacey D. Cram spoke to a people who were about to be exiled from their primary properties. And some people already are. The Emporia congregation don't have a building. So Stacey D. Cram spoke to a people in exile and about to be in exile. Their temple was destroyed. Or in other words, their temple, the Community of Christ temple, is about to be sold. Their land, about to be sold. Their traditions of viewing this land as important, sacred, part of prophecy, broken. You know, we're not holding on to those old beliefs. There was a part where, sorry, this can be the last thought. There was a part in the Salt Lake Tribune article where she was talking about wanting to get past a identity crisis. I don't know if I have it highlighted. Oh no, right here. Yeah. Let's see. Let me. Okay, so I'm gonna just start right here. So we've gone through some very difficult budget times, and as a result of that, we've lost focus, if you will, on some of our disciple formation and leadership development. And so we really want to be intentional about promoting our identity, message, mission, and beliefs. President VZ, our previous president, he did this fabulous job in providing us this great foundation and really reestablishing who we are. Okay, reestablishing who we are. So we were just reading from a quote that said, broken traditions. And here, rebirth, reestablishing who we are. And now we put it into action. And so my hope is that we've gotten beyond what you might call our phase of identity crisis. And it's really clear who Community of Christ is in the world today. If I'm understanding her correctly, I think she's talking about being done with the old traditional beliefs, the traditions, so to speak, belief in independence becoming the New Jerusalem, belief in the Book of Mormon as an actual historic record, rather than just divine fiction. And I don't know what else they believe. I don't know if the traditionalists in their church and the ones that broke away, the restoration branches, I don't know if they still view Adam Amen as where Adam and Eve lived. I don't know if they view Jackson County as where the Garden of Eden was. I don't know if they view Far West as a temple that still needs to be built up in the future. But I think that if you take all those beliefs together, I think that's what she's referring to when she's talking about the identity crisis. I think the identity crisis is moving past the schism, the breakaway of the restoration branches that still want to hold on to the old traditions. I think there's still some people in the church that stayed with it. They didn't break away, but they still hold on to some of those old beliefs. And I think she's saying that it's time to just go this new way. You know, we don't care about independence in the sense of like prophecy. We don't hold on to that belief anymore. It's more important for us to, go throughout the world and serve and feed people and help people find equal opportunities and all their core values. I think that's what she's saying. We're done holding on to the old beliefs, the old dogmas, and this is now who we are. So that's how I interpret things. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Is that your read on the situation? Were you RLDS, or were you, after the name change, were you in Community of Christ? You have family members that are part of this church. Do you live here in Missouri? Are you familiar with this church? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. But that's going to be for this one. I'll talk to you guys later.